Hello and welcome to Football's Going Home episode 1. This is my new YouTube channel. Now my name is Ryan. Now, I live in Manchester. I work as a sports journalist covering Manchester United and other Premier League clubs for some of the biggest media organisations in the UK. And I recently visited Thailand, and when I was in Asia I learnt that there are so many Manchester United supporters out there, but actually there's probably not enough content being aimed at them overseas for them to discuss, for them to enjoy, covering what for me is still the world's biggest club. So I'm starting my own YouTube channel. Now Football's Going Home is because football's for everyone. That's why I've named it that way. And hopefully over the course of the following episodes and the series that I'm going to be starting for you, you're going to be learning a little bit more about Manchester United and you're going to feel more involved than ever. So we're going to be filming every 3 days, posting videos every 3 or 4 days as well. And hopefully you enjoy this as much as I do. So stay tuned, episode 1. Let's crack on to it. So in this video today we're going to be discussing 3 different topics going on at Manchester United at the moment. And to all my viewers that are watching in Thailand, I'd like to just say Swadee Karb to Thailand, because that is where I found out that there's so many Manchester United supporters across Asia, hopefully wanting to find out more. So United are back. It's been this kind of short winter break that they've had. They last played on Sunday the 14th of January, that was that 2-2 draw against Tottenham, and since then the players have been on holiday, resting, recovering. It was a long festive period, and actually United didn't come out of it looking their best as they haven't done so many times this season. So where did the big players go? Well, the likes of Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, Lisandro Martinez, Diogo Dalot, they were all over in Dubai soaking up the sun, kind of resting, recovering. Casemiro and Diogo Dalot also attended the Globe Soccer Awards in Dubai, alongside the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, who you might remember as is a couple of years ago, of course. Casemiro actually won the Player Career Award. It's kind of one of these Globe Soccer Awards that they just give out for, I don't actually know, no other kind of organisation, whether it's the Ballon d'Or, whether it's the FIFA Best, they don't do any of that whatsoever. But they were all in Dubai. Diogo Dalot spent time with Ronaldo as well. Bruno Fernandes had, it seemed like some really good family times. Hopefully that's made him, feel spurned on for the rest of the season. And Marcus Rashford. Now Rashford, he's had a difficult season. I think we can all say that. He started to show form just before this break, so actually it probably came at the wrong time for him. He spent time in America. He went over to San Francisco, also doing some private training in Fresno as well, which is kind of just near there, not too far away, and he seems to have been putting in the work. But the United players are back in training this week. Erik, this is currently Thursday, so Erik Ten Hag's press conference will take place tomorrow on the Friday, ahead of the 4th round FA Cup match against Newport. Now in terms of players that return into fitness, we'll get the full rundown from Ten Hag tomorrow. Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw have been back declared, well, they've been training on the grass, I'll say that, and they've been pictured with the ball, which would lead you to think that they're probably back fit as well. So they're working with the ball. Now it's yet to be confirmed if they are available for selection, but really Shaw's last game was that 2-0 defeat just before Christmas against West Ham. Now Shaw he'd been injured a couple of games before that, and it was actually quite a little bit of a layoff for him, and he was rushed back in, many felt, because United were desperate. They were in poor form. They were desperate for a left back, because Diogo Dalot would have to been playing left back, or Aaron Wan-Bissaka had. There was actually occasions when Victor Lindelof had to play there as well. And Shaw's such an integral part of the way that Ten Hag wants to play. So he's now back fit. And then Harry Maguire. Now Maguire was injured in the 2-0 defeat here against Bayern Munich that knocked United out of the Champions League. He limped off injured in that match. And I remember it was Johnny Evans that had to come on and have that partnership with Rafael Varane. The difficult thing for Harry Maguire is that Lisandro Martinez is now fit. Now, Maguire's United career looked over in the summer. He had been talked about and moved to West Ham. United rejected that. He then stayed at the club after having the captaincy stripped off him. And for many, it looked like it was just going to be another season on the bench. When he was playing, he was struggling. His confidence was low. There were times when he went away of England and he was getting jeered by, I remember, Scotland fans that were kind of mocking him. And then he got a break and he came back in and he was doing very, very well for Manchester United. And actually, that was the exact attitude that not enough players have shown this season. So Maguire came back in, he was showing form, great. He then actually started to overtake Rafael Varane, and you had this partnership of Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire playing together. The problem for Harry Maguire now is that while he's gone off injured, Lisandro Martinez is now back fit. And of course, Martinez and Varane was that partnership last season that was loved by Ten Hag and actually did very, very well for Manchester United. So for Harry, he has to kind of back himself to come back in and show that form again. Can he have a partnership with Rafael Varane or Lisandro Martinez? The Martinez-Maguire partnership didn't work last season. Maybe it might be time to work, but one of those three is going to have to miss out. You're either going to have a World Cup winner missing out in Martinez, you're either going to have a World Cup winner and a serial Champions League winner in Rafael Varane missing out, or you're going to have Harry Maguire missing out. One of them will be on the bench. Now, there's also the African Cup of Nations, so Andre Onana's away with Cameroon, Sofiane Amrabat's away with Morocco. Now, they won't be available for this weekend. Onana's more likely to be back soon than Amrabat, given how their two teams are progressing respectively. Which means that Altay Bayindir, the Manchester United reserve goalkeeper, is going to make his debut this weekend. Or, well, we expect he's going to make his debut, barring any kind of injury disaster. And that'll be a brilliant moment for him. I think Onana's underwhelmed this season following his big move from Inter Milan. I think United fans want to see what Bayindir is like. The worst situation for United is that Bayindir will only be able to be a reserve. Maybe he's not good enough to be United's number one. And if Onana carries on, then carries on the way he's playing, then he's not going to be good enough to be United's number one. And so you could be left with a situation whereby United have just spent over 50 million on a goalkeeper in the summer, and they're going to have to go back into the market. So we'll see. Onana has produced some good performances. The problem is he's also produced some really bad performances as well. Now, definitely players that are unavailable. Mason Mount, long-term absentee still. You expect that he's nearing back towards fitness because it's been a couple of months since he's been injured. And don't forget, he's United's number 7, which makes you think that he should have a big part to play here at Manchester United since he joined from Chelsea in the summer. As of yet, we're yet to see it. Tyrone Malacia, long-term absentee as well. Hopefully he's getting back towards fitness. He underwent surgery in the first half of the season. Victor Lindelof's out, and Anthony Martial. Now, Martial, whether you class that as a loss or not is another thing. He is a body still that's out, unavailable for selection. Underwent groin surgery this week, and that's likely to rule him out for 10 weeks. So there is a suspicion over whether Anthony Martial will play for this club again. His contract expires in June, and it could be goodbye Martial. Sorry, United career's not worked out for you. Anyway, we're going to move on to topic 2, and we're going to take you down inside Old Trafford. So I thought I'd take you on a little walk around Old Trafford while we discuss United's next game, and also kind of this ongoing striker crisis that the club now finds himself in, really. Now, United play Newport County on Sunday in the 4th round of the FA Cup. For many of you, probably never heard of Newport County. Actually, you might not have even heard of Newport. Now, Newport's based just inside of Wales. It's just over the border from England, if you're going down from the southwest. Now, Newport play in League 2, which in England here is the 4th division of the English football pyramid. So once you go out of League 2, then you're down into the National League, which isn't part of the professional setup in England. Now, Newport are 14th in League 2. They've lost 11 games this season, and at Rodney Parade, only 7,800, I believe, 7,850, I think it is, they can fit inside Rodney Parade for football matches, which are a bit different to the 77,000 supporters that you can get inside here at Old Trafford on match day. Now, for United, it's really, really important they win this game. It's actually a must-win. And it sounds strange saying that because you think of last season, FA Cup final, yes, they got beat by City in the final, but still made it there. Carabao Cup winners, finished 3rd in the league. In really many ways, you couldn't have asked for a better first season if you're Erik Ten Hag. No one really expected that to happen. The problem is that they're 16 points behind Liverpool in the Premier League race this season. Liverpool are top, United are 8th. Awful place to be in. But United are 8th. Out of the Champions League, they aren't even good enough to drop into the Europa League, so they can't win anything in Europe. And out of the Carabao Cup. So this is United's only chance of silverware this season. The problem for that is that if they don't win it, then Erik Ten Hag has questions posed at him, whereas is progress being made under his leadership? There's an argument to say not. There's also an argument to say there's been a lot going on at United here with kind of this Ineos investment from Sir Jim Ratcliffe as well. But United have to win. They have to go as far in the FA Cup as possible. They've won the FA Cup second most times behind Arsenal. United won it 12, Arsenal won it 14. Last won it under Louis van Gaal, which is actually quite ironic because he was then sacked just after that game, after he beat Crystal Palace, to lift United's 12th FA Cup. And Erik Ten Hag, it's a big competition still, you know. The Carabao Cup last season, you think that Okay, it's a silverware, and it was a really, really good kind of starting point for United to go. But the Carabao Cup isn't the same as the FA Cup. The FA Cup it's the oldest cup competition in football, and regardless of what you say, it still has got prestige about it. Now, the other issue that United have is that they're actually going through a bit of a striker crisis now that Anthony Martial suffered this groin injury. Anthony Martial hasn't been at it for many years for United, trust me, and actually I'm one of the supporters that think that he's not good enough to be at Man United and shouldn't be here anyway. The problem is that he was still a body, and he would still, very rarely, chip in with the odd goal. Now, he's out for 10 weeks. His United career is basically over because his contract's not getting expired in the summer. Well, that's currently a situation. I'd be very, very surprised if it changes. That leaves Rasmus Højlund as United's only striker. Now, I think Højlund's going to be a striker for the future for Man United. I think there's been enough there to show in the Champions League and recently in the Premier League with his first couple of goals in there that he can do a job. He can't be relied upon as the only striker in Manchester United's kind of roster for the first team for the rest of the season. Now, you can go down two approaches with this. You can kind of try and bring in some of the youngsters. The problem is that the youngsters that would come from the academy would still be youngsters like Rasmus Højlund, so they probably can't even, they wouldn't even be able to share the responsibility of being Manchester United's central striker. Now, if I was to tell you that since Sir Alex Ferguson retired in 2013, not a single Manchester United striker has scored has scored 20 Premier League goals in a season. Okay, you've had players that have scored more than that in all competitions. Cristiano Ronaldo was the last to do it, but since then, Robin van Persie wasn't able to do it after Sir Alex Ferguson retired. Wayne Rooney wasn't able to do it after that. You had the likes of Zlatan Ibrahimovic wasn't able to do that. Cristiano Ronaldo, Edison Cavani. The list goes on and on and on and on of players that haven't scored 20 Premier League goals in a season. And that should be the standard for any striker at a top club. So United really have this dilemma where they just can't. They've not been able to buy for love or money a striker that is capable of scoring that many goals in the league for them. And that's what you need if you want to be challenging for top honours. Now, the last one that was actually to do was Robin van Persie. But it's during Alex Ferguson's year that United won the 20th league title and the 13th Premier League title. So that shows you how long ago it's been that we've had a striker that scored that many league goals. Ronaldo last scored 17 league goals in his first year upon returning before he then was kind of had his contract terminated the following year. And it's just not good enough. It's not good enough. So United have a striker problem again now. Now, very little movement in the January transfer market. They can, of course, look to do what they did with Edison Cavani a few years ago, where they bring in this experienced striker for the remainder of the season, possibly offer him a one-year deal going into next season. But the options out there, you're limited as well. Now, Karim Benzema is the one that's most being kind of talked about with a potential move to Manchester United. Now, Benzema is 36 years of age. He's over in Al Ittihad. He left Real Madrid last summer to go to Al Ittihad in Saudi Arabia. It's not worked out for him there. He wants to leave. He's also being linked with Chelsea and Arsenal. Now, if I'm Karim Benzema and I'm looking at the projects that are going on, Chelsea, no. Don't want to go there unless I want money. Manchester United, possibly, but you're talking about a serial, a 5-time Champions League winner, the 2022 Ballon d'Or winner. I'm not sure United's a convincing project for him at the minute. Still the biggest club, you'd argue, in England. I'm not convinced he'd be interested. Arsenal's the other one. Arsenal have a great chance to win the league this year. Benzema might be the exact type of player they need to spur them to that title, but that's one of the names. The other name that is less convincing is Erik Maxim Choupo-Moting. Now, Choupo-Moting's down at Bayern Munich. Formerly, Premier League supporters, if you're watching and you're thinking across age, you're thinking, I remember that name. You do remember that name because he was here previously with Stoke City in the Premier League. Now, I think it was the 2008 season that Erik Choupo-Moting scored 5 goals and Stoke were relegated. He's then kind of had spells at PSG and Bayern Munich, and he was doing really well at Bayern actually last season. And then Harry Kane went to the club. Harry Kane, probably a striker that should have been here, but he went to the club and Choupo-Moting's game time is significantly reduced. The issue is he good enough to kind of actually come in and do a job for United? The only reason you're going to bring him in is someone that can help Højlund or score more goals than him between now and the end of the season. I'm not convinced that he can do that, but that's your two options at the minute. So, strikers needed. I'm not too sure who it's actually going to be. They need someone. There's very, very little movement in the January market for United. They need to sell players to bring more players in because of financial fair play guidelines. Now, they'll have to do something. We'll have to see who it is. Now, I just want to mention the Stretford end at Manchester United. This is kind of The Stretford end is unanimous with being the area where the tunnel is. Now the tunnel's actually just down those doors. You might be familiar. When United come in, the players come in, get off the coach here, goes through these doors, and the Stretford end is where you have kind of probably the noisiest supporters. I'd like to say the best atmosphere is in the Stretford end. That's United's striker crisis. They play Newport on Sunday, and boy, do they need to win. The final topic that I'm going to be covering here on Football's Going Home, episode 1, filmed here at Old Trafford, is the big news that Manchester United have appointed a new chief executive officer this week in the form of Omar Berrada, the former, I should say now, Manchester City chief operations football officer. Now, it's a massive coup for Manchester United. The reason for this is because they've been lost for so many years now since David Gill retired in his role as CEO. They've had the likes of Ed Woodward in and other kind of people that have come in, but purely really it's only been commercial aims and commercial success that United have been able to boast in the past decade now since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. Now Berrada is a 46-year-old Moroccan born in Paris, and he has been very, very key to Manchester City's success in recent years. The reason it's a coup for United is because not only does he understand the commercial side of the club and what's required there from a club like Manchester United, he also has the football knowledge and the football experience to kind of show United how to lead success on the pitch as well. Which is something that's actually, you look around the ranks at United now and kind of the names and the faces of yesteryear and all the success they previously had, it's not there anymore. Now, I just want to read you a little bit of what Manchester United said in their statement. Now, they said, the club is determined to put football and performance back on the pitch at the heart of everything we do. Omar's appointment represents the first step on this journey. That to me says that success on the pitch and sporting success hasn't been United's key aim in all those years, but it's a good step in the right direction. Now, it's the first appointment of this kind of Ineos investment, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's 25% investment in Manchester United, and it's the right one for me. It's also really important to note that unlike the times in recent times when any big news around United's been leaked, any big news has been coming, and actually everyone's known it before United put an official statement out there. This news came just probably 10 minutes, I think, or so before United pushed out an official statement earlier in the week. That's a really good sign, because it shows that actually some things are starting to get reined in, something is starting to get done a bit more professionally around Manchester United, and that's been needed for so many years. Now, he will be tasked with overhauling the club's sporting board, and he's going to have to implement a new strategy, new ideas, not just of his own ideas, but of course of this Ineos kind of team that is being brought in here at Old Trafford. Most notably is Sir Dave Brailsford, the former kind of man that got this amazing Olympic success and Tour de France success with Team Sky and Team GB as cycling. He's going to be working very closely with Omar Berrada. Now, Berrada speaks 6 languages. He previously became Barcelona's head of sponsorship prior to joining Manchester City in 2011. Actually, what's really interesting as well is that he's a college dropout. Now, he dropped out of an engineering course at the University of Massachusetts in America years before he realised that he wanted to go into football. And he swapped. He kind of went to do a business course, worked in Barcelona, got a job at Barcelona, rose through the ranks there. And in 2011, before even Pep Guardiola moved to City, he moved. And he started off in this similar commercial role, but then he went into a sporting position, heavily involved in the deal to bring Erling Haaland to Manchester City, which actually was the player that Manchester United wanted before he went to Borussia Dortmund, but we got snubbed. The issue, and there is 2 issues. Now, Berrada won't be able to start, we expect, in his role at Manchester United until the summer. And also, Manchester City have 115 Premier League charges, financial charges over them still. If those charges go through, you know, there's kind of this hidden court date apparently that's going on at the minute. If those charges City are found guilty of, Berrada could be involved in any possible punishment. Similar to what we actually saw with Juventus, when Juventus last season kind of were found guilty of some financial charges. Fabio Paratici was Tottenham's chief executive at the time. He then has to resign from his role. Fingers crossed, the same doesn't happen to United. So that's it, episode 1, Football's Going Home is complete. United away at Newport this Sunday. They're back in action after the winter break. Can they get the win? They need the win, so fingers crossed. We'll be back here at Old Trafford in the next few days, filming again for episode 2. To all my viewers across Asia, thank you so much for watching. And if you're watching from anywhere else in the world, then I hope you enjoy it as well. I'm Ryan, this is Football's Going Home, episode 1, signing off. Goodbye.